This is another high-stakes week for the president as his tariff war with China escalates and the markets remain volatile. And even as he was greeting the leader of El Salvador, a key ally in Trump's campaign of deportations, the president is well aware that amid the turmoil, China sees a golden opportunity to exploit American trade dysfunction.
I don't blame China. I don't blame Vietnam. I see their meeting today. Is that wonderful? That's a lovely meeting. They're meeting, like, trying to figure out how do we screw the United States of America.
At that meeting in Hanoi, President Xi is positioning China as the world's most reliable trading partner. Both Vietnam and China now face exorbitantly high and wildly unpredictable tariffs on their exports to the US. As Xi signed multiple business agreements, it was evidence of global economic power shifting from Washington to Beijing. And what is the mood back in the American heartland?
This is a winter rye crop.
Do businesses here feel Trump has sown chaos? In Kentucky, some farmers are still ready to give the president the benefit of the doubt.
This is what we've been wanting. Let's do it.
Doug Langley is a Republican, and his loyalty to Trump remains strong.
I have full confidence in the president right now. That's part of the reason I voted for him. We wanted him to run the country like a business, and when you ask somebody to do something, it might not be exactly what you wanted, but you have to give him a chance and let it try to work out. For the tariffs, we bounced up, more tariff talks, and now we have closed at 1042.
He tracks the prices of his produce closely to see how tariffs will impact his business. But he says Americans should not rush to judgment.
I wouldn't call it chaos. It isn't as much chaos. It is newsworthy, but it's not chaos.
The owner of this local hat shop, however, sees plenty of evidence that Americans are worried about their savings and their future.
People are getting a little gun shy. They're not sure about spending money, and, you know, the cost of food and a variety of things have gone up so far, so they're very nervous. We just have to buckle up and hang on and hope that it doesn't get any worse than what it already is.
I like this.
But among her customers, many say they accept Trump's central argument that short-term disruption is a price worth paying.
As long as it's a little bit of an organized chaos, I think that's totally fine. We're never going to live in a utopia. There's always going to be a little bit of pain. Yes, I think it's going to be worth it in a long run.
It's like being sick, that you have to be in bed for a while before you feel better. And I think that's what's happening here.
Whether such voters continue to back Trump's trade war, even if supply chain disruptions ripple across America, may be the critical question in the coming months. Robert Moore, News at 10, Washington.
Well, I guess the key question is what happens next and how is it going to impact all of us? And Debbie is in Beijing to try and provide some answers. Debbie, look, we know that China can inflict a lot of pain on America. It owns a lot of American debt for a start. We've had a lot of talk about, you know, their total monopoly almost of rare earth minerals, or at least the refining of them, that so many American sectors absolutely do need. But on the other hand, you know, it does export a great deal to America, you know, and this could be causing the Chinese a lot of pain as well. So where do you think the balance is tonight, and what will China do?
Well, Tom, the first thing I'd say is that China has been preparing for the eventuality of an all-out trade war for several years. The starting gun from Beijing's point of view wasn't fired on so-called Liberation Day. It was during Trump's first presidency. So the Communist Party has had time to insulate parts of its economy and prepare its host of retaliatory measures. Regards how far Xi Jinping is prepared to go, well, I think initially he's had no option but to fight fire with fire, and that is proving very popular with the public. Even export companies that we've spoken to that are really struggling already are still supporting the party line that you must stand up to a bully. There is even a Chairman Mao statement from the Korean War, "We shall not yield," that is proving popular on social media. We've seen from the Communist Party's dogged pursuit of zero COVID that Xi Jinping is prepared to put his people through an extended period of economic hardship for the so-called greater good. And I think that might be tolerated again, but only to a certain point. There is certainly no way that the Communist Party is going to allow Donald Trump to boast that they have become begging for a deal, but I think there is a hope here that there could be a deal to be done in the coming months, but only if, first of all, the two leaders can agree to meet. And in the meantime, as you saw from Robert's report, Xi Jinping is touring Asian nations where Donald Trump has helped make the case that China is perhaps the more stable and reliable long-term partner.